The bus did belong to the church. It was not a charter or a leased bus. It was a church-owned bus. They were on an adult outing and senior trip. We do know we have a confirmed number of 8 individuals who unfortunately passed away in this horrific incident. The bus driver, that is still being determined who that actually was.
With that horrific of an accident, both sides of the interstate were pretty much in gridlock, other than our emergency crews trying to get through on the shoulders. Our first crews were on the scene within 5 minutes. But in those initial stages, of course, everyone's reaction when they see something that bad, they stop. And so there were several, good Samaritans, I don't have a number, that did at least hold hands until we got trained personnel there to assist them and get them to the treatment area so that we could identify that we had everyone accounted for and taken care of and transported. So there were some people that were temporarily pinned in the bus. I don't have a number on the number that were extricated from the bus. All those that were entrapped were in the bus. Some had self-extricated prior to our arrival on their own, had either walked out or crawled out on their own. But we did have to remove several from the bus once our emergency personnel arrived.
What, in terms of the accident happened yesterday at 2 o'clock, what's been the challenge in notifying families?
What's been the challenge to notify families? Some of the identifications of the individuals involved in this incident, involved in this crash, it's not very easily to discern who they are. It's the crash is so horrific. It's finding a positive identification is going to take probably University of Tennessee's forensic team to look at. We're probably going to have to look at some dental records. It's that type of crash. This is probably the worst. I know Director Phillips said yesterday it's the worst he's seen here in Jefferson County. It's probably the worst that I have seen in my career as well, and I've worked several counties in my career past 17 years. All the information that's from the crash scene has been collected that we currently have. But that's not all the information that we're going to have. There's going to be further witness statements. There's going to be statements from the survivors, from the Chevrolet Tahoe, as well as on the bus, and possible witness statements from motorists. We're also going to gather information as far as from the church, as far as the service records of the bus. We'll look at the totality of all the evidence that we have, and then all the information will be collected and examined and analyzed, and we will release that as soon as possible. Our curriculum response team responded from the Fall Branch and also the Knoxville District. That's one team combined. They cover the Fall Branch and Knoxville District together. One team does. We also had a unit come up from the Nashville District as well. So we also have Major John Albertson, who is our CID major. He supervised CERT and has a very in-depth knowledge of how CERT works and the functions that they perform. So they'll make sense out of chaos. That's what CERT does. They come in and they gather the evidence that is there. They will, what may look like something that, to the average eye, to the average investigator, how could you possibly look at this and get it back to scale or investigate it? Our curriculum response team are very well trained, very highly trained, very professional troopers, sergeants, lieutenants, captains. They come in and they map the scene. They will map and measure to scale that incident. They label and document each item of evidence, each tire mark, each gouge mark or scrape mark on the roadway. This incident, this crash was such a horrific crash. Determining if seatbelts are used or not may, in some situations, be possibly extremely difficult to impossible to determine. But we will look into that as that information will be gathered and collected. The question was asked this morning: does the tour bus or does the church bus have seatbelts? Yes, it does. It's not a school bus. School buses do not have seatbelts, but this bus does have seatbelts.
Is it clear yet which tire blew out on the bus?
The tire that blew out on the bus, it's our understanding, it's the left front tire. we're going to say that the tire blew out. We do know that there's a tire malfunction or a tire failure. We don't know if it was a blowout exactly at this point in time. We do know that there was an issue with the tire, of course, being on the steering axle of the vehicle. But we're not going to go as far as calling it a blowout. It's a tire malfunction or a tire failure. It's basically impossible if, and I stress if, that front tire were to have blown out or malfunction or had a tire failure of any type of situation that would occur to that front tire. With the size and weight of this bus, if that tire were to drop instantly or the tire trailer were to come off, causing the driver to lose control, it's extremely difficult to maintain control of that vehicle. It is of course, the rear tires are a dual axle tire. The front axle, steering axle is a single tire. So if that front axle were to drop, lose air, lose pressure, have a malfunction of any type, and it drops down to the rim, and that rim were to dig into the asphalt, it's going to catch, it's going to grab, and it will possibly redirect the bus in whatever direction that the wheel wants it to go, if it's however it catches. As far as any charges against the bus driver,
in general,
of course, we're not going to rule anything out. It's too early. It's extremely early. We're in the very first stages of this investigation. The roadway's back open. That's been done. But as far as the charges, as far as knowing if we're going to charge anyone yet or not, that's extremely preliminary. We will look at all the evidence that we collect. We'll gather that. We'll take that to the district attorney if there is anything that could be deemed a malicious or a willful intent of any kind, or a careless intent. If there's anything in nature that could have been done to avoid this crash, such as maintenance records or anything like that, we'll gather everything, and we will take that to the district attorney. The time frame of each incident is different, and the damage to this bus was tremendous. So, but they did, our CERT team came out, they did an inspection of the bus, they did a post-crash inspection of the bus. The bus was taken to the Greenville scales where it was weighed for the purposes of reconstruction to get an accurate weight of the bus, to make sure that we do the most accurate post-crash inspection that we can do on the bus. That process, the bus was then transported to the Newport Department of Transportation lot here in Tennessee. So our inspectors will be continuing to look at that bus. This is not going to be a crash that is just going to take 1 or 2 days to work. It is going to be a process, but our best inspectors are on it. They're looking at it. They're charging hard to get all the answers to this incident. As far as the vehicle went through the median, it wasn't a van. It was a large bus. The cable rail system, they are installed and designed to restrain vehicles from going across the median. They're not infallible. They can malfunction. Now we're looking at a vehicle that's probably in the proximity of about 40,000 pounds that is hitting directly onto a metal or steel bar or going down into a concrete base into the ground several feet. 40,000 pounds versus that is still going to, it's going to win out. It's going to push that. It's going to push that over. If this would have been a traditional guardrail type system that most people are familiar with the big wide metal galvanized steel guardrails, it would have pushed through that as well. Guardrails and cable wire systems, they are there to restrain vehicles. But if it's a dead-on collision into that cable rail or into a guardrail system, if it's a direct-on collision, the vehicle will go through that. Just like if a vehicle takes a dead-on collision into a brick wall, we've seen incidents where vehicles have crashed into homes. You wouldn't traditionally think a car is going to crash through a house, because a house is built strongly, it's on a strong foundation, brick, so forth and so on. But that's what happened. As far as speed, if he's doing a speed limit at 70 miles an hour, direct hit into a cable rail system, that 40 plus thousand pounds, the bus is going to win out over the cable system, or even a guardrail, or even possibly a concrete divider wall. But speed is another one of those determining factors that we're going to look at. If speed was a factor, if it was not a factor, it's not going to be ruled out. It's going to be examined and until we determine that speed was not a factor.
Oh, we're just extremely grateful. I'm very proud to be associated with all the emergency responders here in our county and those that came. I've worked with many of them for over 20 years, as I said before. We just want to thank them for all their assistance. We couldn't have done it without everyone else's help. We were immediately taxed to our limit as soon as that incident happened. So we needed outside help instantly, and they were here pretty relatively quick, considering they were coming from miles and miles away to assist us. So our gratitude, there's no way I can thank each one of them except through this means. So we're very thankful to them. We're especially thankful to those bystanders that took it upon themselves to aid those that were laying there hurt and injured and assisted us as well throughout that. So I can't express our gratitude enough. And I'm very proud of how valiantly all of our people not only served those that were injured, those strangers that they encountered yesterday, but also how well they worked together. It was a very seamless, very cooperative effort with that many agencies on the scene. Having no squabbles and being able to cooperate is a testament to their professionalism and their character in the time of distress. So